Light. Hmm. Yes. Oh my God, my light is so much in the back. Okay. Good afternoon, good day, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Carol Matebula saying hi. In this madness world of coronavirus, I don't know what is this nonsense, this purely nonsense coronavirus, interfering with our lives, really, And, I just, it seems as if we as human beings, we never have chance to just breathe. Got too much makeup. I've got too much makeup going on here, you guys. I thought, as you're getting 50, it's important that you do some covering. But anyway, let me get back to why I'm doing this video. Coronavirus. What is it? Where does it come from? And how long are we going to be in this mess? That's my question for you guys today. And of course, as you know, that I'm doing lots of planning in terms of business-wise, having to be in Belgium since October, bombarded by the story of Brexit. And now, while you're trying to emerge to the air, suddenly there comes coronavirus, and you're thinking there's always a confusion after confusion after confusion. So my question is today, what is corona? I'm doing so much research and I'm hearing so much stories, and these stories are there's never a clear story that can give you an answer. Now I'm asking and I'm concerned because I'm in a health industry. I have to research people. I have to counsel people. I have to speak to people, and so my whole life resides around connections with people. And now the question is, as a therapist dealing with people, how much knowledge is it out there to protect ourselves? Yes, you're doing research, but you're also terrified. Like, for example, in Belgium now, where I'm at, there has been 800 cases of people infected. And I think there's been one person died, I think, so far. I don't know yet. But last week, Thursday, I was told that a lady died because of coronavirus, and she was 95 years old. Right now, you see people being locked away. There's this locked out. Suddenly, we are all in our homes today. There's no trains. There's no. You can't go to restaurants. Of course, supermarkets are open, but people are going crazy, picking up tissue papers. Tissue paper it suddenly became very famous with this coronavirus thing. Now, my question is, why that is, and where is the right information? We live in a world where information is not given quickly. Our life gets changed in front of us, and as it gets changed, there's so much stories that we hear. There's never one story that gives you a certain answer that can make you feel like, you know what, we all have control of the situation. But no, they are the vulnerable ones, which is we, the masses. And then there are those who know, which is the scientists. And then there are those who are dealing with the situations, with the doctors. And this trail of this nonsense world that we're living in, it just annoys me so much. I'm really, really annoyed because of we are so much control. Yes, we are locked ourselves. I don't think I have a corona. Just last year, December and January, we were busy talking about Brexit and Meghan Markle. And of course, we were free to do whatever. And suddenly China from nowhere, boom, bashaka, in front of our faces. And the stories about Wuhan, Wuhan, the city there. I'm not really trying to make fun out of anyone, but I can't pronounce the city, and while you're listening to the, and suddenly they show you all the different kinds of crazy food that the Chinese people eat, which I'm not really concerned with that. It's their diet. Every one of us, we have our own crazy delicacies that we recite upon, and we find a very dear in our hearts. Some of us, I came from South Africa. We eat maudwana, which is the feed for the cows and sheep, and we eat the heads, and we eat the eyes. We eat the brains of the sheep, and it's a very, very important delicacy in my country. We eat chicken feet. We eat the colon system of the cows, and etc. Whereby in other people's view, that can be viewed as something so disgusting. So now, having to realize that the Chinese people are eating all these crazy diets of theirs, that has always been the Chinese people. I don't think they suddenly decided to change their diet in 2019 and started eating things, and suddenly, washu, there comes a coronavirus because of their diet. Now, while you're still looking at China, and suddenly the whole world is dying with this damn thing. The whole world is affected, the whole world. And then we are all put in our houses, and they are doing research, and then etc. And then suddenly you wait for a second and you think, is this new? And you realize, damn, it's not damn new at all. It's not new. I'm sorry, I'm angry with this, because of we are being not free to roam in this world. And then you realize that in 1981, there was HIV and AIDS, whereby it was a wild story. It started somewhere in America, and then suddenly it jumped away from America. It ended up in Africa, and it started killing Africans like crazy. And yes, there was a story there, but it was looked, we, the poor African people, we were looked as marginal, because of this stupid HIV and AIDS. And I remember how sad it was. And the world was not so involved, because of the world looked at this problem as it is ours. And then you realize, as you're doing research, because I like to do research. I'm sorry. I'm so passionate about what I'm talking about at this moment, because of there's always an agenda. And an agenda is that we don't know. Before this coronavirus, we were just sleeping and thinking about how to go with our businesses, and nobody knew nothing. And suddenly there comes corona, and everybody knows the name of it. They know, they give it whatever code, whatever whatever. I'm not so interested in this, in the depths of it. I'm doing a research. I'm trying to find out the real story, where it comes from. Probably next time I'll talk about it, because of at this moment I'm talking about the frustrations behind this. Who told the world that they have to buy tissues? Why people are going to the shops and collecting tissues like crazy? I mean, it's a madness out there. And you're thinking, man, what's going on? And you realize the poor people, when we are lost, we do crazy stuff. But who is there to tell us about how? We're living in our house at this moment. Yes, everybody has been locked out, but nobody is coming to the door to give us information, which I truly believe that when things happen like this, and the government, so-called the stupid, I nearly said, I'm not going to use the ugly words. I'm so angry. If the government is doing their best to help the society, they have to send their messengers to our doorsteps, who are really, really protected with really, really good things, and they stay a little bit far away from us, and they tell us how things are going. No, you never hear these people. You just hear them from the news, and you never really get to touch and really get the real story of where are we going. No, what they say, there's still going to be more deaths coming. They said recently, I saw something today, they say that coronavirus would go until the spring of 2021. Can you imagine? How do they know that? I mean, Now, the question is for you and me, what do we do? What do we do to deal with these things? I think what we need to do is to take control of our lives. Be aware, wear masks, Let's not touch each other. Yes, because that's where everything comes from. So now, if people are sick and people need to deal with their stress and they need massage, what do they do? What do we do as those who are massaging others to try to keep them away from stress? Do we continue massaging? Do we sit down and talk to people who have fear of this corona? How do they deal with? Or are we all locked in our homes? Like at this moment, really, Belgium is fully locked out. And they say it's going to be locked out for a month. So nobody's working. I don't see buses. The buses are there. You see nothing in the buses. There are no trains. There's no restaurants open. And of course, some other countries around Europe are closing their borders. And suddenly yesterday there was a story of what's her name? I think she's the president of EU Parliament, and she was saying that the problem is that if you're closing your doors, there's going to be a shortage in food. And you're thinking, what the hell is going on? I mean, what is going on? I mean, is it really that bad? Is it really? How is it in your environment? How many people do you know in your environment who have this a coronavirus thing? I don't know anyone. And those who I know, they don't know anyone. What they're telling me about fear and fear and fear and fear. Now, why don't we really come on Facebook? Because of being locked out, it means that you are not locked out, actually. We've got our devices where we can communicate. And those who have so-called coronavirus can really give us the insight of what's going on. Or is it hidden as HIV and AIDS was hidden? I remember the secrecy around HIV and AIDS. No one was allowed to know what was happening. And the fact that the society, the community, the vulnerable ones didn't know what was happening. They were just waiting to be told, and they were left aside, and it was this taboo, blah, 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 blah. Lots of people were infected because of the government. It feels as if when things like this happens, the government keeps the masses in a blindness of they shouldn't know. They're the boss, they know what's going on, and they're gonna come to us and give us the information. And for me, this is where I find that how do you move away? How do you lift yourself up and become a part of this citizenship where you could be respected as just the normal human beings working on the planet, not being used by scientific world, whereby they're saying that this is biological warfare. There's so much stories around this thing that the Chinese. There's a story that the Chinese government were learning how to create the biological warfare, diseases, where one of the lady went to Harvard since 2013, and she was studying. And then they realized in 2019, I think, somewhere in April, they were caught at the airport running away with some biological materials. Whatever. I don't know this subject so much, but I'm just really following if you follow me on Facebook, you will realize what I'm sharing, because of most of my things that I do research upon. I share them in my groups. I think I've got about 3 pages where you can follow and really find out what is my take in this coronavirus. And I think we need to share more about it. How does it affect us? Where are the Black people? I want to know, because I don't hear so much. I hear a lot about Europe. Yes, a few cases in Africa, but how much are we affected as African people with this corona? What are the things that we need to do to protect ourselves? Because there's so many things. The other one tells you got to do that, and then the next time you can't. And this thing is threatening our lives. Are we? And then another thing that really drives me nuts, really nuts, is this thing so-called that's why what's his name, this royal boy family, William, recently he just gave the 3rd child, and then he appeared, and there was a story of depopulation because of there's just too much people on the planet, and they are thinking of ways how we can depopularize. Isn't this one of those things? So there's so many questions that you ask yourself. Are we being respected as society? Are we being respected as just the masses going around having our right for being in this planet? No matter what, if we die because of there is a reason for us to die. If we do not know, we don't know because of we don't know. But I think it's important that the government don't take us as their kids. It's like we're the kids of this so-called the people who are controlling the world, and they tell us when to jump, how not to jump, when not to do what. They even come very clearly to tell us that it's time to this depopulation, and you're thinking, who are you going to choose, and who's going to die? Your kids. You bring kids in the world, and you also talk about depopulation, and you talk about biochemicals for biochemicals weapons, and you're thinking, who in the world sits in the lab and create things that can kill others? You understand? So for me, I just have questions. My questions is HIV/AIDS. We know very well that HIV and AIDS, it was not something that came from animals, as they've said, because over the years, there's been lots of stories that showcase that HIV and AIDS, it was created. This is my research that I find. I'm not saying that to confirm it, that was the case, but we realized that that was the case. At the end of the day, when you do this research thing, somebody recently, I sent it as well in my page. You would find it if you go through my pages. One of them is Southern Africans United Globally. I share lots of things in there. And another one is, I think it's, what is it again? Africa, let's dream. You would find lots of information there. So my question is, what is this thing? What is it? And how closer it is to you and me? And what is the story behind it? Because I tell you, if you go in and log in the secrecy of coronavirus, suddenly you find lots of stories in there. It's important for us to research. It's important for us to find out what the hell is going on. So at this moment, I'm kind of really, really locked out, confused, and not knowing what do I do. What do I do now? Of course, I want to move, but how do I move? When are we going? When is this coronavirus? It's going to get clearer. And how much are we communicating? Not only waiting for the government, and not only talking for confusion, but talking to help one another. So let's have dialogue. Let's talk. Let's talk about what it is, this coronavirus thing. So this is Carol Matibula saying, locked out, completely sealed, nothing is happening. I don't see even a one soul on the street. Of course, we still buy our grocery as normal. Shall we go crazy and start picking up lots of things and stocking them in our house? What is this? What is it? This coronavirus thing? Is this the theory, as everybody says? Is it a warfare, as everyone says? How come they always know the names of these things before anyone even knows? And how far they say they are predicting that millions are going to die out of this. Who the hell are they? Are they gods? And that's my question. Give us the right answers. Give us the communicate with us as equals. Do not be the scientific who are out there and making lots of money out of it, because of course, let's remember that this is already one of the biggest money making in the world at this moment, this coronavirus, because of it's in control of humans' emotions. So this is Carol just expressing her confusions. God bless. We see each other next time. Love you all. Don't you think I look lovely with my short hair? Bye for now. Oh dear. Okay. Ha la la. Crazy.